Hello everyone, this is Matthew Sweeney, here giving my presentation on SQL Joins. So the idea behind joins is that with relational databases, what they do is they allow the user to separate data into related tables, right? So throughout this course we've been kind of looking at several different tables, and we've usually just been querying against one table or another to return a result set. So what do we want to do? What do we do if we want to query data from more than one table, though? Suppose there's several different tables that are all sort of related and they connect, but you have to really kind of pull different bits of information from them and combine them. So how do we do that? For that, we need to use what are called joins. And so SQL joins, of the many types of SQL joins available, probably the most commonly used are what's called equijoins. And those are those joins that whose join criteria is based on the relationship between a column in one table and another column in another table. And what I mean by join criteria, I'll get to in just a second. But basically, it's just the set of criteria that under which the result set is returned. And of the variety of equijoins, some of the more common ones are inner joins, outer joins, which include the left outer joins and right outer joins, and I'll talk about those as we go along. And to illustrate what I'm talking about, I'm going to use these Venn diagrams. We've probably all seen Venn diagrams before, they're pretty common. But just as a kind of summary, what we'd show here would be two tables, table A and table B, and that would represent as a set of data, and then whatever they overlap between A and B, and kind of taking the musical instrument example, you could have maybe a table of all the Fender products, and then maybe a different set of different table with all the electric guitars. So there'd be things that wouldn't match, and then things that would match or overlap. So the inner join, kind of the first example, that would be the matching rows between A and B, would be the result set. So the syntax for that would be on the left here, be select whatever you want to return from whatever table A, I'm just using A right here, inner join B, and B would be the second table that you want to join to A. And then the last line there, the on, that would be what I was talking about before, the join criteria. So that's what makes it an equijoin. You're matching, or you're comparing one column against a different column. And so your result set is going to be those rows where those columns match between the two tables. And it's important to keep in mind that that's not necessarily what you're looking for. It's just the criteria that you're joining the tables on. So at the top there, you say select instrument type. I mean, you could, on the join criteria at the bottom, you could be matching serial numbers, right? Like you could say, okay, serial numbers from A, if they have a corresponding value in B, return the instrument types from those. I need to know what types of instruments are matching between the two. So you commonly maybe say this if you had like ID values between the two that you just want to see. When they have corresponding values, return something, or maybe a set of names or something like that. So there may be two different things, but what makes them an inner join would be the result set would be the rows where those match. So that inner kind of overlapping part between A and B. The outer join is similar in that you still have that equivalency join criteria, but you're also returning members that are So set, but also anything in A that doesn't have a corresponding result in B, or anything in B that doesn't have a corresponding in A. So that would just return, it would return all the matching rows. And then also it would return rows where A doesn't match B, and there would just be no value in B. It would just be a null. And then the same thing for B, just a null value in A. So it would return far more, potentially far more than the inner join. And MySQL doesn't actually support the full outer join, which is what I was just describing. But there are other types of outer joins that are supported, and you can actually combine those to mimic the full outer join. And so one of those would be the left outer join, and this one's pretty easy to remember because it has the word left in it. It's easy to kind of picture in your mind the diagram. So the left outer join returns the members of the intersection, but also everything to the left of the join. And that, what I mean by that is, here again is the syntax, which is very similar to the inner join. So you select whatever thing you want to return as your result set from A, the table, left join B. So everything to the left of that join, meaning everything in A, even if it doesn't match something in B, if there's no result, like if the join criteria doesn't match, basically. So it would be the same thing as the inner join, right? All the rows where the join criteria match, plus everything else, even if it doesn't match, it'll return a row, and then there just won't be any corresponding value in B. And the right outer join is the exact same, except for it's everything to the right of the join. And you might ask why you would ever want to do that. So the reason why you might want to do that is because outer joins, or left and right outer joins especially, are useful for cleaning up data and finding the data that does not have a match in a corresponding table. So as I said before, it'll still return rows that don't match, right? Like it'll just always return everything from the one table. So it's good to see. It's good to use to see, like, well, which of these things don't have a corresponding value. So thinking back to our example of the instruments, you might say, well, I need to know how many of these instruments don't have some sort of matching value in this other table. How many things are basically kind of left out of this? So it's good for that. That it also has some other uses, and in fact, you can actually filter outer joins, meaning you say you get the result set, and then you say, but not this. And you can do that, and you can say you can filter out the inner portion, the portion where it does match, which would give you what's called the symmetric difference. You don't really need to know that probably, but it is kind of interesting. You can basically return everything that doesn't match in A and everything that doesn't match in B, and filter out completely the stuff that does match. So the point I guess I'm making with that last bit of information is that there are a lot of different ways you can really get a strong control over what results that you want, and basically, what data is joined together. It takes a little bit of practice. I certainly don't claim to be the expert on it, but sometimes it's a little confusing because you get maybe unanticipated results from joins. But with a little bit of practice, you can kind of it gives you a lot more power in which and being able to query multiple tables and then joining the rows together to produce result sets that you can have much more use for. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.